Yeah, resuming the show today. My name is Aleja Adeboale, and Ramadan Kareem to all the Muslims that are fasting. Happy belated Easter to all the Christians. I hope you guys all had a wonderful day, or wonderful the day across the globe. It's playoff season in the NBA. Arsenal are back to the era of Arsenal. We are seeing the Arsenal that we've seen over the years, and of course, the Champions League is eating up right now. Bayern sacked Nagelsmann to get Thomas Tuchel, and the result is still the same against Manchester City. I have with me today, I have Olawale, and of course, I have Sheyi. Orakukachi is missing for the time being. He might join us before the end of the show, but I will let Olawale take the anchor on this one and introduce himself.
Yeah, it's good day, sporting fans around the world. It's another Sunday for us to discuss events around the sporting world. The Champions League is heating up. The NBA playoff is commenced yesterday, and for the lovers of the NBA, you can't afford to miss the Sacramento Kings versus Warriors series. That's going to be a hell of a series. The yesterday game was something else. You can't take your eyes off the game for a single minute. We are going to dissect that and some other important stuff today. Welcome to the show.
All right, perfect. Sheyi.
Yeah, welcome everyone to this week's show, and it has been an interesting week so far in the football world. Man City showing their Champions League credentials quite well, and I think Arsenal seem to be proving all their doubters right, including Gary Neville, and we still have the second half of the Champions League to go in the coming week. We'll be dissecting some of that in a few, let's say, minutes. Welcome, everyone.
All right, perfect. Thank you very much for that, Shay. And of course, we'll be jumping straight to the NBA. NBA is back, and it's crazy right now. And like Olali said, the game between the Sacramento Kings and the Golden State Warriors was a crazy one. And then 126, 123. Steph from that last shot, which could have taken the game to the OT. And I'll just do a quick rundown of the matchup that we have in the series right now. We have the Phillies against the Nets. Philly actually destroyed Nets yesterday. The Boston destroyed the Atlanta Hawks as well yesterday. Carl versus Knicks, they lost against the Knicks. Jalen Brunson showing what he's made of. The Kings defeated the Golden State Warriors. Right now, the Lakers are playing the Grizzlies right now. Last time I checked, it was a 3-point game. The Milwaukee Bucks right now against the Heat as well, and the Suns versus the Clippers. Like it's of course for the Suns for the Suns. Don't forget that last time out in the regular season, it was the Suns against the Clippers that played the last game to ensure who they face in the playoffs. And the Denver Nuggets are playing against the Minnesota Wolves. Looks like a good one for the Minnesota Wolves, but we'll just do a little bit of dissection to the game that I played yesterday. I'll start with the Boston versus Hawks game. It's no disappointment if you ask me. I wouldn't lie. It's more or less like what was expected. Olali.
Yeah, I have I have the Celtics to take these in five. Um, I think it's a mismatch. I don't see the Hawks giving the Celtics any serious challenge in this series. I think the Celtics are going to win the second game. It was a comfortable victory for them yesterday. Uh, I don't see this series going beyond 5 games.
Oh, okay, all right. But for the Phillies versus the Nets, the Brooklyn Nets, it's for me it looks like a mismatch as well. If you ask me, um, given all the hard works done by KD and the crew before they left the Nets to join their various clubs, they were unfortunate to qualify for the playoffs. if you ask me. Because if it was this same set of bunch of guys, they probably would not. And Joel Embiid basking off the affair of being the MVP right now. They've started being on the A game. And the tantalizing thing about this match is the fact that the Phillies dropped 21 3 points last night, which is crazy if you ask me, in any game. And the Nets looks like they don't have any kind of solution to it. Are we likely to see a complete sweep of the Nets for this one, or it's going to be a 5 game series?
If the Philadelphia 76ers doesn't take their foot off the gas, uh,
It's going to be a sweep
it could
again.
end in 4 games. It could end in 4 games. Kudos to the Brooklyn Nets for at least bringing that fight, not giving up. But again, like you said, is a mismatch in terms of talent. Um, the only reason why I would say the Nets were able to probably make the playoff was because of the work Kevin Durant and
And the
Kyrie
rest of the
Irving
crew,
did
yeah, did.
about
Yeah.
that short spell they played together, where they won some reasonable amount of number of games.
Mm-hmm.
There was a point in time they even got to the number 2 seed in the East.
In the East, yeah.
So I think that was what is responsible for why they are in the playoffs. Kudos to Mikal Bridges, 30 points. He scored, I think, 22 points in the first half of the encounter.
Yeah.
But whichever way you want to look at it, the only reason why they were able to even stay this long in the game was because of their 3 point shooting. They shot 44.8% from the threes, which was very, very impressive. Although, like you correctly said, the Philadelphia correctly shot better from the threes. They shot 21
21. Last
out of
61
their
with
43 attempts.
63 with
They
no
made
points. It was
21 out
like,
of their
yeah,
43 attempts, making 48%. So
percent from threes.
I think James Harden was very impressive. Yeah, James Harden was very impressive yesterday. What we saw from him was more of a balance between a playmaker and a scorer. He
And the
gave he
scorer.
gave the right balance, and which I think uh, works very well for the Philadelphia 76ers. For me, I think the challenge for the Philadelphia 76ers will be the second. I'm looking beyond the first round. I'm looking
First
at the
round.
second round game against the
Okay.
Boston Celtics. That's
Okay.
when we'll see
We'll
if they
see.
are
We'll see
probably
the real
right up
game.
for this. I
Okay.
think this
And
one will end in 4 game. In 4 games.
in 4 games. Okay. The Cavs versus the Knicks. That's a good matchup. Donovan Mitchell coming off a very wonderful season, regular season. Jalen Brunson showing what he's made of right now, being the A guy for his team. How do you think this is going to? And of course, welcome Marco Kachi to the show. And please use your glasses. Olale, the
Very
Cavs
important.
versus the Knicks.
Across the two conferences, I think this matchup looks one of the most balanced matchups. Kudos for the New York Knicks for getting game one in Cleveland yesterday.
Yeah,
Despite the
it's
fact that
impressive.
JC, their star man was in foul trouble in the first half.
Jalen.
Um, I
Jalen
think
Brunson
their physicality was a big problem for the Cavaliers,
for the Cavaliers.
and for all the good works. If you could recall, in like 2 games they played with the New York Knicks,
Mm-hmm.
the Donovan Mitchell scored over 80 points, and they lost those
Yeah,
games. So that's to show you that for for the Clippers to get the edge over the New York Knicks in this series, they will need more than a Superman
it's
Donovan Mitchell. They
Superman
will need every other person
to step up,
uh,
to step up as
to,
well.
to step up. For all the good works Ivan Mobley is for all the good work Ivan Mobley did yesterday, it was very obvious that the physicality of Julius
Of the Knicks.
Randle actually
Yeah.
weighed him down. I think that is going to be a little bit of minus for them.
So
And
this is going to be a
Jalen
7 game
Brunson,
series.
kudos to Jalen Brunson, towards the end of the game, what he was able to do right was play as in trying to get the right matchup for himself, uh, isolating himself with the weakest link in the Cleveland team, and was able to score point after point. Good one for them, but I expect Cleveland to bounce back in the second game to make it 1-1 going to New York.
Okay. 7 game series. We're calling for this one. Kachi, I'm going to come to you now. The Golden State Warriors versus the Sacramento Kings, and people have dissipated the Sacramento Kings. That's and this is the first time in a very long time, I think in 17 years or more, that all the guys from California are qualifying for the playoff. Correct me if I'm wrong. It looks like a wonderful one. We expected the Golden State Warriors to bring on their A game, and they did that up until I think the third quarter or the fourth quarter. They were leading comfortably at the point, but the Kings came back and they eventually won this game. And that shot that Steph Curry missed, and we're talking about it because it's Steph. If it's someone else, we'll probably look at it like, okay, that's normal. But because it's Steph, and that chance was golden, I could have taken them to OTs. And most people are touting right now that it's going to be a 2-0 lead for the Kings after the first game. How do you think this will pan out, honestly? Because it's now first game is shaping things up, getting the momentum is very key for the Kings as well. And the Aaron it was a beast last night.
Yeah, their Fox was pretty big, and I think he primarily was the difference. But let's not miss this fact. This was a really good win for the Kings. Their first playoff win in 17 years. And I think where the game was lost and won was the fact that Fox was able to make 5 threes. And this is something that the Warriors did not plan to stop, because Fox statistically doesn't have that kind of success shooting from the arc. I think that's something they are going to work on. I listened to Draymond Green's podcast right after the game, where he said he felt they did enough to win, but he still believes they can play at another gear. And I totally agree with Draymond. Matchup-wise, I think the Warriors match up really well against the Sacramento Kings. But that doesn't mean that the Kings will just lie down there. They were playing with the energy that the crowd was giving them. Be that as it may, I think the Kings have shown us everything they have, and the Warriors haven't shown us that. An interesting fact, since Steve Kerr became the coach of the Warriors, he has not lost a 7-game series to a team in the Western Conference. So pretty much he only loses to
the Eastern
East in the NBA Finals. So that tells me that they are a well-oiled machine. And I don't want everyone to, think too much about that miss by Steph Curry that could have extended the game to OT. In the last 1 minute, 9 seconds of that fourth quarter, between Andrew Wiggins and Steph Curry combined, they missed about 4 open shots that they could have won them the game, not even take the game to
OT.
So the ball just wasn't dropping in. It wasn't because they were.
So what's your call for this match? 6 games, 7 games.
I think it goes to 7 simply because the Kings, because all they have to do is win all their home games. But I think they split game 2. They lose game 2 to the Warriors. That's just the way the Warriors will bounce back. But I also think the Kings have enough in them to split games also in California. I think this goes to 7, but I think the Warriors, by sheer experience, would win.
I totally agree with you that the Warriors might eventually win this, given their experience. I'm banking on them anyways. And of course, Olale, the Grizzlies versus the Lakers right now is happening right now. I could check the scores right now. I don't have it off the top of my head. The Lakers are leading by 2 points in the 2-point game. Third quarter. What do I expect from this game? I'm banking on the Lakers right now.
Yeah.
What? I'm backing on the Lakers, given that all eyes are not on them right now. What's your call for this game, Olali? Quickly, Olali.
Well, rather than this game, I will look at it. Yes.
Go ahead, Olali. I can hear you now. Yeah, go ahead, please.
Can you hear me?
Go ahead. We can hear you. We can hear you, Olale.
Okay. So, okay, fine. I said, rather than focusing on this game, I'd rather focus on the series as a whole.
Yeah,
I
of
tip
course.
the Grizzlies to win this. I think in whole they are the better side, but I will not rule out the Lakers completely, considering the fact that the Grizzlies will be without two of their big men,
Yeah, Dylan Brooks.
Steven Adams, who is currently injured,
Mm-hmm.
and what do you call it? And it's not even Delion Brooks.
Which one?
There's a Canadian center guy that played for them who has an Achilles injury.
Okay.
I just keep his name now. So those two guys will be very they will miss
Crucial.
those two guys, considering the fact that they are playing against AD, who is going to play in the interior very well. Because without those two guys, that means you will be left with Jaren Jackson Jr. to be the primary defender on AD. And what has been the complaint about Jaren Jackson Jr. this season? The complaint has always been he can't just stay away from foul trouble. And for the Grizzlies to make any deep run in this playoff, they need Jaren Jackson Jr. to stay out of foul troubles. But if he's going to be the primary defender on Anthony Davis, I don't see how he's going to stay out of foul trouble. So that's that Anthony Davis versus Jerry Jackson Jr. matchup is factor. Is the only reason why I'm probably having that Lakers. Okay, they could likely do this because if what do you call it is that if Steven Adams is available and the other guy who I can't rightly pick.
Go ahead, yeah.
I think it would have been a different ball game. But as it stands, I will still stick. Overall, I still believe the Grizzlies are the better team. I will give it to them in 6. I think I'll give it to them in 7.
In 7 games. Okay. That makes sense. I don't agree with you anyways. I think the Lakers are going to take it for obvious reasons. Away from what you think, I think the Lakers are the better team. They have the momentum, considering how they finished the league right now, how they finished the regular season. So I feel that's how I feel anyways. Kachi, I'm going to come to you. Olale said 7 games for Grizzlies versus the Lakers, and of course the Bucks versus Miami Heat. Adebayo and what's his name again? Jimmy Butler talk it off right now, but they are facing a bulldozer who I don't think anybody can stop. You know, how do you think this is going to end? I feel 6 games.
Yeah,
if you ask me,
I totally agree with you that this ends in 6. The Heat just don't match up very well with the Bucks right now because of the many prong attack that the Bucks will come at you with. You know, you can't sleep on Lopez.
Yeah,
Lopez himself because he can. Let's put it this way: the Bucks have 4 legitimate guys that can go for 25 a piece.
Yeah,
in a day.
100%.
Then when you now and that's an average, and when you now spill in the
role players,
the other role players coming in with 5 points here, 3 points there, it adds up. So it's similar to how the Nets could not stop Embiid in game 1 of their own series. They tried the first 2 quarters, they were double teaming Embiid, and that left open short lanes for James Harden, who had an amazing day. I'm not sure, I didn't catch that if you've already discussed that game. If they try that with a Giannis, it's going to open up shooting lanes for Middleton, for Portis, Bobby Portis.
Yeah.
It's just going to be, you have to pick your poison pretty much with the Bucks.
Exactly, with the Bucks, yeah.
And I just, for some reason, don't think playoff Jimmy would be enough. Because we're looking at everything right now with the Heat. Everybody that should come in and not pulling their weight. From Kyle Lowry not pulling his weight to Tyler Hero not pulling his weight.
Yeah. It's about time though.
I personally think, this is not what they asked me, but I think they should package Hero and those other boys and whatever draft pick they have and travel all the way to Portland.
No, they are talking about it already anyways. They want to get
do
Yeah.
with bringing Damian Lillard.
Yeah,
there. But right now,
that's what we
it's
saw this morning.
points in 6 games for me.
Yeah, that's what we're saying this morning. Anyways, Kachi, I'm gonna the Nuggets versus the Wolves. I feel the Nuggets should win. I don't know. I start to be corrected in 6 games.
Definitely.
I don't want to dwell on it. I want to talk about the most interesting game, and that's the Suns versus the Clippers. That's a team I want to avoid. It's just so sad for the Suns. If you ask me, it's sad for them, and this is the reason why I said it's sad for them. It's either they play against the Clippers or they play against the Golden State Warriors. Either way, it's not good for them. I think Kachi is okay. Kachi, you're back, right? So Kachi, I'm going to stay with you. The Suns versus the Clippers. It's for me personally. I know on paper it looks like the Suns are better. It looks like the Suns are the best in the league right now. I even see them to make the finals and be beaten in the finals by the Milwaukee Bucks. But honestly, I still think it's a crazy one. If you ask me,
I totally agree. Potential banana skin game for the Suns, especially if they don't start well. They have the advantage of starting the first 2 games at home. I expect them to take care of business, but like I said, potential banana skin. What for me gives them an edge is the fact that Paul George is not starting this series. Will probably win maybe by game 4, and it may already be too late by then. I guess if they were fully stacked, fully healthy, then you have to tilt it slightly towards the Suns. But I think KD has something to prove. Probably Chris Paul's last chance to compete for a championship in my
you guys put too much pressure on KD.
I agree. It's not ring chasing, but he's been surrounded by so much talent that it will not bode well. It's different with the Damian Lillard, where you say, okay, there's no talent. If he finishes without it,
just calm down. Just calm down for KD.
Surrounded with enough talent to make a championship push, at least get to the finals again. I see the Suns winning this. Yes, potentially a banana skin game, but the first 2 games will tell me what happens. The Suns
seven, right? Or 6?
In
6. Wow. Alali, Suns in 6 for Kachi. Do you agree? Suns in 6 for
I think this should end in 6.
Oh wow.
Of course, if they have Paul George available, I think that could be a different conversation entirely. But without Paul George in this first round series, I just think it might just be too much for Kawhi Leonard to handle. We all know how, when it comes to close game like this, we all know the problem with Russell Westbrook. Russell Westbrook will continue to be Russell Westbrook, and I think that is what it's going to be. I just think,
thank God,
looking at the starting 5, the Suns teams looks like an ideal basketball starting 5. A point guard who you just want to do is
facilitate,
point guard, not focus more about scoring.
Mm-hmm.
Your 2 scorers being the shooting guard and your small forward. You have a typical big man there to to protect the ring, and so I just think Suns starting 5 looks very good. My only concern for them is the bench. What is the scoring option from the bench?
They are light in terms of numbers.
6.
Okay. I think it's going to be 7 anyways, and potentially it could be crazy for them. Shay, I want to come to you. Few basketball boxing game. You want to share that with us, Shay? Oh, I think she is frozen for a sec there. So I'll wait for Shay when Shay comes back. But before then, we just need to review the game that we had last week in the Champions League. City destroyed Bayern Munich 3-0. Real Madrid defeated Chelsea 2-0. Napoli lost a game to Milan 1-0, and Inter Milan defeated Benfica as expected. I believe 3-0 as well. Sorry, 2-0 as well. But this is a reverse fixture where people need to travel back and protect their own court right now. And it's going to be Bayern against City again. and it will be Chelsea versus Real Madrid. Chelsea has been a terrible form in the past couple of weeks. Nothing is going to change if you ask me. It's going to be a straight victory for Real Madrid in this one. The coach of Chelsea, or the caretaker coach of Chelsea right now, Frank Lampard, is not doing enough. I won't want to put all the blame on Lampard himself. I would say the players themselves are not doing enough. They are more or less like playing like role players, if you ask me. So it's going to be a straight up victory for Real Madrid. City versus Bayern Munich. The 3-0 lead for City will be too much for Bayern to overcome. Bayern actually now have their own kind of in-house issue where Sadio Mane was banned for a game because of the fight that he got to, or beating up Leroy Sané. It's a sad one because Mane is not that kind of player. He's a player that adheres to the basic principle of the game. He's a guy that everybody loves. Everybody loves Sadio Mane, but unfortunately, he got into the squabble with Leroy Sané, punch his face out, and here we are right now. So that's another side attraction. Unfortunately for Bayern Munich, going into this game. So I don't see Bayern coming back in this one. Olali, if you are with me, in 2 seconds, do you see Bayern doing anything against City? I believe Olali is still not back with me, so I will just proceed to the game between Milan and Napoli. Milan are doing the unthinkable. First, they defeated Napoli 4-0 in the league and followed that one closely with another 1-0 victory in the Champions League. And they're just one step away from defeating Napoli or qualifying at the very least. And I believe this game is going to be happening at the Saints Armando Maradona Stadium. So it's going to be a crazy one if Milan can actually do it against Napoli.
Hello.
Yeah, I can hear you, Olali. Just give me one quick sec. Like, if it's going to be a miracle if Milan can do it against Napoli again. Olali, one quick sec. Do you think Bayern can actually do anything against City? I can hear you, Olali. Go ahead, please. Olali, go ahead. I can hear you.
Hello.
Yeah, Olali, I can hear you. Go ahead, please. I can hear you, Olali. Go ahead. Okay, I think I lost Olali for one quick sec there. Sheyi, I want to come to you if you can hear me. Just give me a thumbs up that you can hear me. So I'm saying it's going to take a miracle for Bayern to do anything, like come back against City. It's a 3-0 lead, and it's going to be mission impossible if you ask me.
It looks like it, because we can say Man City is in the almost like the best of form. Haaland is
gone blazing right now.
he seems to just get the goals whenever and wherever
yeah,
falls to his feet. However, I still think Bayern Munich will remain Bayern Munich. They'll probably push on the night to get early goals, and I think we are going to have quite an interesting match if Bayern Munich gets an early goal on the night. And don't forget that we've seen Bayern Munich actually turn ties in Europe before, even against big teams. You can recall, I think against Barcelona, they turned, is it a 3-1 or a 4-1 deficit to a win. So it's not something that is out of
reach,
out of the ordinary for a big club like Bayern Munich. But I still think the Man City is favourite for this tie because of the 3-0 lead, and obviously having that kind of leader striker like Haaland, you always know they will score goals.
Okay.
So most likely the tie is probably over for
Bayern. For Bayern. Olali, welcome back. Give me a thumbs up if you can hear me, Olali. A thumbs up if you can hear me. I'm not sure Olali can hear me still. So Inter Milan versus Benfica. This is more or less like give
I
me a
can
thumbs
hear
up,
you. I
Olale.
can hear you.
Okay,
I can
great.
hear
Olale, Inter versus Benfica, more like a rubber stamp game right now. Benfica going back to San Siro, if I'm not mistaken. What do you think of this time?
Yeah, disappointing from Benfica. They chose the wrong time not to be informed, and there is this correlation about at times when you have the rhythm, at times you just don't want to break it. If you could recall this before the game,
Mhm.
Benfica rested some players, I think, and they lost to Porto. Going to
Yeah,
this game, they were not. I think Inter Milan outmatched them physically. Benfica were not that ready for the Inter Milan physical battle, and I think not starting Neres actually affected Benfica a lot because this is a guy that could attract 2 or 3 guys to himself,
yeah.
create space for the other. Joao Mario wasn't that effective on the right side, and the warning signs were already there in the first half. Benfica did not have any answer to Inter Milan wing backs. They were delivering a lot of cross right from the deep. Not they don't need to get to the byline from the just a little bit after the halfway line. In first half, they deliver like 2 or 3, 4 crosses like that Edin Dzeko probably missed and couldn't convert.
Yeah.
The warning signs were there in the second half. A deep cross from the left side found Barella, who converted easily. They were a little bit unlucky on the second goal. The penalty was it was a close one, and you have to pity this guy, Joao Mario. He hit him right on the line from the head to the hand.
It's a crazy one. I know. I feel there should have been a little bit of benefit of the doubt, given that it was on the line. I think Olali, we lost Olali there for a sec. Sheyi, City, Bayern is rubber stamp was saying City will qualify for that one. Chelsea, Real Madrid is no contest. I don't think Chelsea should even go for that match to start with. Napoli versus Milan looks to be the dicey one. Who are you tipping for this one? Milan or Napoli?
Yeah, I think this is the tricky one. Napoli has shown that without Osimhen, they seem to be getting it, wrong in terms of. And I would like to say this in terms of the. I think they are still the better team. They're still the better side. They lost AC Milan on the night, but they created more chances than AC Milan. They lost actually quite a lot of their chances on the night. But of course, you can point at the loss of their talisman, Osimhen, as one of the issues they are facing.
Reasons why they can't convert those chances.
Yes, unable to convert those chances. But if they are able to get, back into scoring form on the night, I think they are going to. They are able to. They are more than able to put.
To put out a good show and do it against.
And actually, more than 2 goals past the AC Milan defense and the goalkeeper, and that should be enough for them to qualify.
Okay.
So for me, I still think they are still favorite for this time.
Okay, all right, perfect. Thank you very much for that, Shay. Olali, do you think Milan will qualify? It's going to be Napoli. Welcome back, Olali.
If Victor Osimhen is going to be fit for the second leg, I think Napoli will qualify. But if not, it should be.
I think he played 17 odd minutes over the weekend. He could not get a goal as they played 0-0 against, I believe, was Sassuolo or against Verona over the weekend. Anyways, we'll move on to the other part of the show, which is going to be English Premier League. But before I move to the English Premier League, Dortmund could not capitalize on the slip up by Bayern Munich. They drew 3-3 against Stuttgart. I don't understand what is wrong with the defense of Dortmund so far this season. Sebastian Haller among the goal scorer, and of course Claudio Reyna son, Rio Reina. I don't know why I keep linking it to his father every time I see him score goals. I see him play for Dortmund. Scored the third goal, but he could only manage due to defensive errors from their defense. Play a 3-3 draw against Stuttgart that keeps them 2 points behind Bayern Munich right now in the Bundesliga. Of course, Olali gave us good news that we could be seeing a new champion, Ruud van Nistelrooy, in the Dutch league. Sorry, not Did Van Nistelrooy. Feyenoord could be the new champion. Olali, correct me if I'm wrong. I'm mixing up for a second there. But I think Feyenoord is going to be the new champion, possibly. They are currently leading PSV and, of course, Ajax by about 7 points or 8 points right now in the Dutch league. And, of course, the young people in League One, the Farmers League, as they call them, Lionel Messi and the rest of the crew came up with goals as well over the weekend. And currently, they are leading by 8 points in different league. Everything is winding down, and English Premier League is winding down as well. Arsenal have just 4 point advantage over Man City. Man City, don't forget, have an outstanding game right now, a game at hand. And of course, Arsenal are traveling to the Etihad on the 26th of April. Arsenal would have 2 games outstanding over City because they'll be playing against Southampton. But to the juicy one is the fact that Arsenal slipped on a 2-0 lead against Liverpool. Understandably so. We could say Liverpool Anfield is one of the craziest places to go. But against West Ham, we saw a repeat of that. The first 20-30 minutes was gone blazing for Arsenal. Should we now put this down to G3s on the part of Arsenal, lack of experience, or what do we put this down to? Or was just simply lack of awareness by players like Thomas Partey and, of course, the inexperience of our guy, Mikel Arteta? Because it looks like Saka is not the same Saka that we know. He's not been playing very well, and he keeps getting the 90 minutes ahead of players like Gabriel Jesus or Trossard that could actually give you those goals when you need them, rather than keeping Saka on the field. Shay.
Yeah, I completely agree with you, and I think it's a mixture of what you just put together. And let's say naivety of the coach a little bit, and I think inexperience of the players on the pitch it also contributes part of this. Because for me, I can't say it's about fatigue for them, because they dropped out of other competitions.
Other competitions, exactly, to focus on the league.
Exactly, to focus on the league. So obviously we have to rule out that. So for me, I just think is the inexperience of the players on the pitch. I can see a little bit of good team play in the Arsenal team, and that's actually manifest in the type of goals they scored. The same thing with what they did against West Ham. Those goals are completely team goals. Fantastic created goals, expansive football, from the left, from the right. However, I just think for the West Ham game, the midfield actually really just dropped the ball on the day. It's a London derby, and also you expect West Ham to be physical. We know their physical side. The physical guys for Arsenal totally dropped the ball. Talking about Partey on the night, dropping possession.
Sorry. I don't know why is Xhaka still playing 90 minutes in Arsenal right now. I don't understand the rationale behind.
No, I don't think there's any other person that can play better than Granit.
I don't know. Xhaka to me looks like he's half fit. I understand, maybe you don't, but I would keep faith in probably Jorginho or Fabio Vieira playing that role, because Xhaka right now plays more like a number 8 rather than
exactly. So that's the difference. You can play that Partey or Jorginho, but I think the role of Xhaka in the Arsenal team is more critical than the other guys. Because if you notice, Chaka fills in even into the attack when there's space there. They did that a lot this season. That's why if you notice,
that's how I'm playing Fabio Vieira. I'm not saying he should not stand, but I don't know why he's still playing 19.
if not, Chaka scored some
Very crucial goals.
Very crucial goals this season. So I think his role is critical, but at the same time, I think if these guys are feeling too much, pressure at the moment, this is the time for Arteta to change something, because that might just revitalize the team. Talking about Saka is out of form for the last 2-3 weeks. I think it's about time he should sit on the bench for the likes of Trossard. That should be a no-brainer for Arteta. So I completely agree with you on that.
Okay. All right. Of course, Tottenham Hotspur. I'm glad Arsenal might not win the league, but I'm glad that Tottenham Hotspur lost again at home. 2-3 against Bournemouth, and City defeated Leicester City 3-1. That does not tell the full tale of the game. Leicester City almost came back to life immediately. Pep Guardiola started removing all the key players. De Bruyne was out. Alan was out, and the rest of it. And the way that happened, looks like if only Madison has scored that crucial goal or passed the ball to Kelechi Iheanacho, we might have a different ball game at hand and a Navi head for Man City in the tie. But of course, at the end of the day, City defeated Leicester City. Welcome back, Olale. Give me a thumbs up if you can hear me. Of course, good evening. Good evening is the best coach in England right now. No, based on form. Ole Watkins is the best player in England right now, based on form as well. Okay, sorry. And Erinana equaled the number of goals by a single player in the Premier League. 32 goals, equaling Mo Salah's number of goals, with 8 games left to play. So who says Erinana will not end up with about 42 goals, knowing who Alan is. But Olale, I'm going to come to you. We thought Villa was dead and buried while Gerrard was there. And I'm part of the crew that kept giving Gerrard these excuses like, oh, okay, it's the new players are new, this, blah, blah, blah. But he came back and he revitalized the team. It looks like a whole new team, playing with purpose. Every likes to play from the back. He's doing it fantastically well. The players are heading to his calls and his instructions. I was seeing the results week in, week out. Ole Watkins had been giving the video clip of Edison Cavani and Aubameyang to study. And I see the results in Ole Watkins as well. 100%. How well would you judge? And they are putting themselves for a Champions League slot right now, which is amazing. They should not even be in the conversation for Europa Conference League. How much more talking that, okay, they could, if the result goes their way, they could qualify for Champions League. I know they will not, but they could potentially, mathematically. How well would you rate the tenure of Unai Emery so far?
I will not rate. I don't have any ratings for him now until I see what happens next season.
So far this season. Yeah, so far this season.
He has done very well. He has done very well this season. But what I'm saying is this: we've seen this pattern before in some of these teams, especially Aston Villa and some of their teams hereabout, where a changing season, you see that it uplifts them somehow. But by the time you start the following season, everything goes flat again. But of course, you can't take anything away from what he has done this season, most especially away from home. They've won, I think, 90% of most of their games away from home since December. Yeah. So he has done very well. Like you rightly said, they might probably make the Conference League. I don't think they can make the Champions League. It's a bit too far away from them.
Yeah, of course.
So good work for him. And of course, Unai Emery has a tendency of doing well in all these middle table team like this. We saw his exploit at Sevilla and even at Villarreal, where he was able to win a Europa League title. The only place he could not win Europa League title was at Arsenal, unfortunately.
Come on, you
So
don't win at Valencia too.
good one for him. Yeah, good one for him. He probably could give him a 7, let me say 8/10 for what he has done. But like I rightly said, I'll probably still have to wait till next season to see if this is sustainable.
Okay, all right, perfect. And of course, the last challenge will be about Chelsea. And Sheyi, I asked you last week, can we sack the president or the owner of the club? And unfortunately, that cannot happen. And that's the guy that is killing the team. The team spirit is dead. The interim coach he cannot do the job. And I'm not going to blame Frank Lampard. I'm not going to come on the show and blame Frank Lampard. I'm going to blame the guys upstairs that they cannot use what God has given them upstairs. You know, those are the people I'm going to blame. I'm not going to blame Frank Lampard. I'm going to come on this show and blame Frank Lampard. Frank Lampard did not give himself the job. They gave the job to Frank Lampard. And whoever is advising toward Bodley or Bowley or whatever his name is, needs to advise him again and advise him better, or he should fire all his advisors. We've seen a team that is a Champions League regular, former 2-time Champions League winner, turned into a ridicule. This is, and I'm not saying Brighton can beat anybody in the league on their day. And that's not the surprise, but it's the way and manner in which they were defeated. They were buried dead alive. The game did not even, the scoreline did not even tell the true picture of the game. They could have ended in 6-1, 7-1. And Frank Lampard came out to say, yo, these guys, you are not giving it to Chelsea at all. I don't see any solution for them. And luckily for them, they are far away from relegation. So they have to restart, they kick it, and restart whatever they need to restart. But the problem is, where do they even start from next season? Sheyi, I'm going to start with you on that one before I conclude with Dolali.
Yeah, I think right now.
Are you asking me?
No, I'm asking Sheyi first, then I'll conclude with you.
Yeah, Debo, thank you. I think the Chelsea situation cannot get any worse than it is at the moment. They are rock bottom as far as I'm concerned, and I think they know that. They've already pressed the refresh button. They are just waiting for the season to end. That's why they brought in Frank to just come and see what he can do till the end of the season. But right now, I'm very sure they know that no Europe for them, and obviously they know that they cannot relegate because quite a lot of worse things are behind them. So right now for them, they've already they've started the problem with the last coach. Graham Potter, thank you. So they started the problem with Graham Potter, overloading the man that has no idea how to even use what is on ground. So the issue is already on ground, but they need to fix it. Now, how do they fix it is the next question for them, because right now they are wrong. They wait for the end of the season. They get a coach that has a plan, and they are ready to back the coach. I'm very sure they have quite loads of players right now. Half of them should go. The coach should come in with his own plan, know the players he intends to retain.
Sorry, I want to ask you, do you trust these leaders to make the right plan? Do you trust them?
That's part of the plan. They need to get someone with a plan and back to the person. So the plan is for them to hand it off and let the people that knows what they ought to do it. Without that, I don't see any positive for Chelsea.
All right, Olale, I'm going to ask you, if you were to be appointed the technical director for Chelsea tomorrow, and you have to advise the body how to move forward next season, what will you be telling them?
The first thing is that everybody should first of all take a deep breath, breathe in,
and breathe out.
See, environment should first of all do, so that they can be able to think straight. The only thing I will tell him is I will just tell him to take a look at down North England and see how the owners of, have you heard anything about the owners of Manchester City in terms of the day-to-day running of the club? They stayed back. It is none of their business. They provide the funds, they provide all the resources for you to survive. They've gotten the sporting guys here. They are not getting Pep Guardiola, even for the Soriano and the other guy they were able to convince to come from Barcelona. Those guys were part of the what made Guardiola successful in his stint at Barcelona. So they had a sporting project. I think I've been saying this as far back as 2014. I said this in 2014. I said the City project is more professionally managed even than the Abramovich Chelsea. I told someone then, I don't know. So I think that's what I would tell him. Provide this, get a good sporting director or whoever you want to get.
No, you're the sporting director already.
No, trust him with the decision. Let him get the coach and let them see what they can work around with it. Because we can't just, of course, some of these players were Enzo Fernandez was actually probably not worth more than £40 million. Some of these, we all know that some of these players were overpriced. But again, we can't still not deny the fact that there are still quality around that team. You need a proper coach to come around and analyze that squad very well in the preseason and probably address one or two key areas. The striker position, probably, I don't know, one of those, either the center half, and you have to, like Joao Felix, thank God Joao Felix is on loan, because I think Joao Felix is going to be a tactical problem for them. Where do you play him? If you want to play a 3-man midfield, do you play him as a 3rd-man midfielder? Do you want to play him behind a striker? Do you want to play him on the flanks? Are you getting the best out of him? So that's where you need, and henceforth going forward, let the technical director, or is it the sporting director, whichever name you call him, and the coach be the one responsible for decisions that has to do with the footballing side. For the fact that Roman Abramovich was taking some of those decisions then and it worked for him, we all knew that Chelsea were even that functional under Roman Abramovich. So going forward, get the sporting guys, trust them with the decision,
and move forward. All right, perfect. Right now, there's no light at the end of the tunnel for Chelsea right now. They lost again at Stamford Bridge this time around to Bryson Arnold. And that's the wrap for the show. This show is proudly sponsored by Bukenzo Glam, where you can get all your accessories, your chains, your hand chains, and the rest. And that's where we leave you today. And we expect you, and we're praying that you have a wonderful sporting week. Bye, guys. We'll see you again next week.